Hello and happy Friday. I am so excited to be here with you today for a live Q&A to answer any and all of your questions about manifesting and how you can really start to consciously create the life of your dreams, because that's what it's all about. So I got a bunch of questions over the last couple of days, and if you have more questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to get to as many as I can today. So the first question that I have is from Vanessa. It's a great question for us to start with. Vanessa asked, so I'm new to this whole manifesting awesomeness. Where is the best way to start? I struggle with overwhelming myself with things that need a little bit more nurturing. So I love that question because I can really relate to that feeling. Like when I first started learning about manifesting and getting into this whole realm, there was just so much information. It can definitely feel overwhelming. And if you're like me, you want to be sure you're doing it the right way and make sure that, you're taking the right steps. And when you're all of a sudden flooded with hundreds of different practices or tools or techniques that you can use, it can definitely be overwhelming. So here's really what I personally recommend, what I have found to be really effective for people just starting to learn about manifesting, that is a great way to understand the practice, start to see it work, start seeing results, and not flood yourself with information overload. And so I have sort of two steps for you if you're brand new and you just want to know where to start so that you can start understanding how this can work and how it can work in your life. And so the first step of this process is visualization. And this again, is one of those topics that there's so much information out there, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, but I like to make it super simple. And the way to start is to just plan on visualizing for just 5 minutes a day. I think it's easiest to do right before bedtime. It's also a great way to prime your subconscious mind to start thinking about the things that you want to bring into your life. And the other time of day that you can do it is right when you wake up, because you're kind of fresh in the morning, might have some extra time to yourself. So that's another great time to do that. And I've also gotten a question, what if I don't see images? What if I just don't see pictures? Can I still visualize? And yes, you absolutely can. And the best way for anyone to visualize, in my opinion, is to really bring in actually all 5 of your senses, or as many as you possibly can conjure. So for example, say you want to manifest a vacation to Italy. I'm just going to use that because that's where I'm going later this year. And you would just love to go to Italy. So what you want to do, just again, for just 5 minutes, just sit down, start to just dream up what that desire looks like, what that trip looks like. Where do you want to go in Italy? What do you want to see? What foods do you want to taste? What sites do you imagine you're going to go visit? What art are you going to see? Or what do you think it's going to sound like in the streets as you're walking around, or when you're in a vineyard, out in the countryside? And really bring in all 5 of those senses. So you can think about the pasta that you're going to taste, or the wine you're going to be drinking, and how you're going to feel when you're there. I bet you're probably going to feel really excited to be on this trip that you've been dreaming of. You might feel a little bit of that nervous energy about being in a new foreign place. You're likely going to just feel super grateful that you created this trip and manifested this trip. So really just paint this vivid picture for yourself with all 5 senses and just have fun with it. Have fun visualizing and really getting into the feelings, the senses, the sensations that you would have when you're actually on that trip. So that's really the first one, is to visualize for 5 minutes a day with all 5 of your senses. And the second piece of that is to take action on any and all, inspired actions that you get either during your visualization or shortly thereafter, where you're like, maybe if I do this, like, I think that could get me one step closer. So number 1 is visualizing for 5 minutes. And number 2 is to take action on those inspired ideas and actions that pop up to you that seem like they are headed in that right direction, getting you on that path towards creating your desire. So thank you so much, Vanessa, for that question about how to get started when you're brand new to manifesting. So my second question came from Julia, and this is another awesome question that I know many people new to this process sometimes wonder about, and her question is, my question is around, how do you feel the feelings of having what you want when it feels so foreign? So that is such a great question, because many of the things that we're trying to manifest, for example, like if you're in business and you're trying to manifest your first 10K month, or if you're in a job and you're trying to manifest a promotion to a new role that you've never held, like those are things that you haven't ever had in your reality before. You might not necessarily know fully what it feels like to have them. So here's what I recommend. Again, visualizing can be a great tool. And just another way that you can do that outside of visualizing is to paint a picture by actually like putting pen to paper and writing out your new story of what it will be like to have that thing. Again, bring in the 5 senses and write it as if you're already living that new reality. So I did this the other day, actually, to give an example of like writing my new story. And this was like a little bit more broad than for a specific desire. It was really like my next level in life. And I wrote it as if it had already happened, being so grateful and thankful for all of these things that signify this next level to me, both the tangible, like things that I saw in my reality at that new level, and also the intangible things like my feelings that I was having, the new beliefs that I held, but, by having that new level or being at that new level. And so that's another really great way, because as you start to write this new story, you'll find that it's going to start to flow, even if it feels awkward at first. Even if you don't necessarily know what to say at first, just go with it. Be creative. Most of all, just have fun, have a good time. Like, you're writing your desire into reality by doing this. You're painting that rich picture of what you want to have. And so that's one great way, is to write it down, visualize. And secondly, if you're still having trouble connecting to the feeling, ask yourself, like, what do you imagine that desire will bring you? Why do you want that desire in the first place? Because underneath most of our desires are feelings that we want to elicit, or just ways of being, ways of living that we want to elicit. So to give an example of what I mean by this, many people I talk to are wanting to manifest more money. And for some of us, being financially stable or making $100,000 a year or $1 million a year is a totally foreign thing that we have no idea how to do that, because we've never done it before. So the feeling of like, what would it even be like to have $1 million or be making $1 million a year can feel like something we can't even connect to. So I want you to ask yourself, what will having $1 million a year bring me? Why do I want $1 million a year? And for so many people that I talk to, it's things like security, stability, freedom, options, expansiveness. So underneath that desire is all of these more like basic, for lack of a better word, feelings that you likely have some familiarity with, even if it's not to the like massive, expansive state that that particular desire may bring you. But if you know what it feels like to feel secure, if you know what it feels like to feel safe or to feel stable, start there and start really just diving into that feeling. Just really think of like what things bring you that feeling, what that feeling feels like, what texture it has to it, what feelings it brings up in your body, in your heart space, in your mind. Like, really dive into that. And then when you have that feeling really clearly sort of created within you, just amp it up. Like, you can literally just ask your subconscious mind to double that feeling and triple that feeling and quadruple that feeling, so that it gets to that level of, or that vibration of that thing that you're trying to bring in. So I hope that that really helps you to connect to those feelings that may feel just totally foreign right now, and you may not know, initially how to connect to it, but those are some great ways, and I would love to hear how that works for you when you give it a go. So thank you for that question, Julia. So my third question came from Pat, and Pat asked, how can I manifest a raise and a C-suite status when I just got hired yesterday? And I love that, because a lot of the time for so many people in the corporate world, in the career world, when you take a job, it's a lot of the time it's because of the future opportunities and the potential opportunities that that job offers. And you're not necessarily just taking that job to do that thing forever. You probably have your eyes on, getting to a higher level. So if you've just gotten hired yesterday in this role and you really want to get a raise and get to that C-suite status, the first thing you have to do is make the decision that that's what you're going to do. Just decide what it is you want and commit to that decision. Decide that it's done, and all you have to do is take the action to get there. And a great way to start taking those actions and have some confidence that you're taking those actions from the most aligned and most strategic space is to get into the energy of being the woman who already has it. So ask yourself, and kind of just, again, this is where I love visualization or like guided meditations and imagery, is get into that space of like literally imagining the woman that you are already having that raise, that C-suite level job, and imagine her standing right in front of you. She already has this. This is already hers. And put yourself like right into her energy. Connect with her energy. Notice how she walks, how she talks, how she feels, what her vibration feels like, what beliefs she carries, and really allow that energy to imprint onto you as well. Like, to soak it up in all of your cells and really feel those feelings of being that woman. Now, from that space, ask yourself, what actions will lead me to that level? What actions will allow me to create this manifestation? And take actions from that space, from the space of being the woman who already has it. And that is an amazing way for to wake up and put yourself in that energy every day and take your actions and act as if from that space is, in my opinion, one of the best ways that you can manifest that raise and that C-suite status as quickly as possible. And also know that, if you just started yesterday, it may not happen overnight, and that's okay. Don't let yourself get discouraged, because sometimes, manifestations take some time. I know that in the past, even in the recent past or still now, I can be a very impatient person. I want things to happen yesterday, especially when it comes to my desires. And I've always believed in magic and wanting to just literally like snap my fingers or wave a magic wand and have my desire. And as with the way reality sometimes works. It doesn't always happen that way. And in the past, I really let that kind of discourage me or get me down. And that's just, that's not really going to get you there. Let's just say, if you give up, if you get down because it doesn't happen overnight, that's the fastest way to sabotage yourself from getting what you want. So just know that it will happen if you continue acting from that energy, embodying that vibration, and taking the required actions and the aligned actions to get you to that space. So great question, Pat. My next question is from Tanny, and she asks, what is the best way to manifest money fast? And that is such a good question, because I know so many people who their number one goal when they speak to me is to manifest more money quickly. So great question. Thank you for that. And so again, just like I said with, the C-suite level job and the raise, number one is decide that it's going to happen. Decide that this money is coming to you, and now you just have to expect it. And to really sort of take action and move in the direction of having that happen, one great practice is to write 50 ways that the money can come into your life. And I know that may sound overwhelming. I mean, 50 to 100, like whatever you can do is awesome. And get really creative. Like literally, there are no rules on this list. Get super creative. Write every single way that you can think of that money can possibly come into your life. And once you have that list, take action on at least the top 3 to 5 right away, and keep going. Keep taking action on the things that come to you for that list, and keep adding to the list. And I recommend taking action on the 3 to 5 things that A, seem the most probable to create that money, and B, seem maybe the easiest or the fastest things that you can take action on. And of course, use all the other tips that I'm sharing today in this Q&A in this video, because those will for sure just amp up that manifestation as well. So great question. So she asked a second question, which I love, and she said, how do you stay consistent with your manifesting practices? I have to laugh a little bit because I am the queen of inconsistency in many ways. I am not a creature of habit. I really love every day being a little bit different. I'm not the queen of routine. I will say that right now. But what I will say is, number one, is to find a time of day that works best for you. This is what's helped me the most, is finding a time of day that will work the best for me. And personally, that's always first thing in the morning. It's when I have the whole day ahead of me, I'm able to really create my own schedule at that point of the day. And I create some time in the morning for myself as well to really focus on these practices when I'm uninterrupted and undistracted. So I really recommend just picking a time of day that works best for you. Other people I talk to, it's first thing before they go to bed. It's right before they leave work, or right after they get home from work, at lunchtime. So just find a time of day that works best for you. And the other thing that I do is I set myself reminders throughout the day, because I really view manifesting not just as a practice or a process, but actually as a way of life, as a way to live your life. And so I really recommend to set yourself little mindset reminders throughout the day, or manifesting reminders throughout the day. I have reminders pop up on my phone that remind me of my affirmations, or I have little practices sprinkled in throughout the day to really keep my mind and energy focused on it. And I will say too, the more that I practice, the easier it is if I feel like I'm getting off track or out of alignment or discouraged, easier it is to come back and realign myself with energy that will really help me to bring those manifestations quickly. So great questions. Thank you so much for those. So those are all of the questions that I have received. If you are watching live, by all means, if you have a question, please let me know in the comments, and I would love to answer that for you. And as I wait for any more questions, if we have any, I also just really wanted to share with you that if you found this helpful today, if you are super curious about manifesting, if maybe you're new to manifesting and you want to learn a proven process that really works to actually bring in your desires, or if you've been studying manifesting for a while and something just isn't clicking, it hasn't worked for you yet, then I want you to join me and become a manifesting queen. I am so excited for my upcoming group program. We are starting this Monday, and I just couldn't be more excited. This is going to be an 8-week course with a small intimate group program where I'm going to be teaching you what my process that I've developed and evolved and created over the last 8 or so years to really distill down into the most powerful, effective, and efficient strategies, tools, and techniques for manifesting. And not only, again, not just having it be a practice or a process or another toolbox that you learn one time in these 8 weeks and then put on your shelf. In this course, you're really going to be embodying the energy of manifesting and being a manifesting queen so that this becomes a way of life. So you're no longer feeling totally confused and mystified about this process, and instead you're able to call in those desires on demand, have confidence that your desires are coming to you, and learn how to shift your energy into that vibration so that they're just coming in automatically. And honestly, that's really just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, the course is centered around manifesting and teaching you how to manifest, but the tools and strategies and techniques that I'm going to be teaching you are so much more than that. These are the same techniques and tools that I personally applied to my own life to heal my depression, to heal my anxiety, to totally transform my life, create a 180 transformation. And that is why I'm so excited. If you knew me a couple decades ago or even a decade ago, I was not this happy and bubbly. I was not this outgoing. I was super introverted, super, super shy. I'm definitely still an introvert, but I used to be way shy and really sad. Life just felt really hard, really sad, such a struggle. And that is really at the heart of why I teach what I teach, because it's what allowed me to make changes in my life that I once never thought were possible. I thought that I was just born unhappy and that's how my life was always going to be. And I'm so incredibly grateful that I've had teachers and healers and mentors who have guided me and helped me discover that life can be amazing and it can be full of happiness. And that's really at the core of everything that I teach. And what so many of these tools, techniques, and this whole program is really about is helping you create a happier life, have more happiness, more of the time. And so it's about so much more than manifesting. And if this resonates with you, if you're looking for this in your life, if you're ready to make these changes, ready to take back the reins of your life, if you're done with letting other people's expectations and pressure on you control your decisions and control what your life looks like, then it is time to join me and become a manifesting queen. And I'll leave the link in the comments so you can just sign up there. And I will say this is the first time I'm running this class, so I'm offering it at the lowest price I'm literally ever going to offer it. It's definitely going to go up after this round. So I would hate for you to miss out at this price. If you're ready to join me, I'd love to have you. And of course, if you have any questions, shoot me a PM or an email or leave me a comment, and I'm more than happy to answer them or hop on the phone with you, because I want you in this class. I want you in this course. It's going to be just so amazing. You're going to have a ton of one-on-one attention. And a couple things that really are going to set this apart from other manifesting courses or programs that you may have done in the past is, number one, there's going to be a huge aspect of accountability. I am not going to let you be doing this on your own. I'm going to really be there with you every step of the way to help hold you accountable to taking the actions, because that is where I see most people get discouraged or stuck or stopped in the manifesting process. Is they do all the visualizing, all the energy stuff really, really well. And then when it comes to taking action, they get scared, they get stuck, they get overwhelmed, and they just don't. So that's not going to happen. I'm going to definitely walk you through getting through those fears, eliminating those fears, those limiting beliefs that are holding you back, so that you're going to be taking those actions consistently to really create the life of your dreams. So that's number one. And number two is that this whole program is infused with neurolinguistic programming, which is an incredibly powerful methodology for and technology for literally rewiring the neural pathways in your mind so that your mindset is working optimally. And what that means is that you're operating in a higher vibration, your emotions are elevated. It's just a miraculous tool, and it's helped me change my life and create, like, overcome fears. It helped me to overcome my chronic anxiety, like, within less time than I can possibly believe. So that is my little pitch for you. I would love for you to join if you feel called. As I said, the doors are going to close on Sunday and we start on Monday. And if you're ready, it's time to join. So find the link in the comments, reach out if you have any questions. And I'm just going to take a quick look at the comments, see if we have any new questions. Which it doesn't look like we do, but that is cool, because I'll be doing more of these in the future. So of course, if you have any other questions on manifesting, or if you're watching the replay and have questions, please just drop them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. So thank you so much for being here today. I am just really honored to be sharing all of this with you. I hope that you got a lot out of this today. Please share with your friends or family who you think it could benefit. And if you're ready to become a manifesting queen, it's time to join me. Find the link in the comments, and I will chat with you very soon. Happy Friday and have a beautiful weekend. Mwah. Bye.